What is the Sino-Indian War of 1962 all about? Why is the border dispute between China and India escalating? Can the border dispute between China and India be resolved diplomatically? Let's find out in this video. Greetings everyone, I am Rishit Vinu and welcome to my channel Rationalist Rishit. Here in this video, we'll be discussing about the China-India border dispute and the standoff taking place between China and India. Let's proceed on to the video. The Sino-Indian border dispute is a territorial dispute between nations of India and China over the regions of Arunachal Pradesh, Akshai Chin and Ladakh. In 1962, there eventuated Sino-Indian Border War as a sequel of the Chinese forces attacking Indian posts located in Ladakh in the west and crossing the McMahon line in the east. In 1967, there also occurred a brief clash between the Indian forces and the Chinese forces over the region of the Sikkim border. The Sino-Indian border dispute eventuates along a disputed border of length 3,400 km or 2,100 miles, and it is also the region where there occurs a competition amongst China and India to build infrastructure. A very prominent example behind this fact is that China had built a road connecting Tibet to the Chinese province of Xinjiang in 1956. The Sino-Indian Border War traces its history back to the colonial era. The Sino-Indian Border War of 1962 took place along the disputed Himalayan border as the Chinese forces, led upon by China's People's Liberation Army, invaded Ladakh frontier of India, and also the Chinese forces trespassed the McMahon line located in the northeastern frontier agency, that is the present day Arunachal Pradesh, on October 20, 1962. The Sino-Indian Border War of 1962 is a result of the violent skirmishes that had taken place across the Chinese-Indian border after the uprising of Tibet in 1959, since India had granted asylum to the Dalai Lama. This had invoked the Chinese military's aggression against Indian military over the years 1962 to 1962 upon India's rejection of Chinese diplomatic settlements. Over the due course of the Sino-Indian War of 1962, the Chinese forces managed to push back the Indian forces and had captured Tawang in the Eastern Theatre and Resangla in the Western Theatre. The war ended upon the declaration of ceasefire by China on 20 November 1962 with Chinese victory, and the war had resulted in over 3,000 casualties for the Indian side and over 700 casualties for the Chinese side. The line of actual control is the notional demarcation line along the border of India and China, which was first propounded in the letter written by SinoIndian to Jawaharlal Nehru in the year 1959. The perceptions on line of control varies between India and China, as India claims that it possesses the entire Akshai Chin region while China claims the whole Indian state of Arunachal Pradesh. However, these disputed areas aren't included under the definition of the line of actual control. The line of actual control is dissected into three sectors. The western sector is divided between the Ladakh region of India and Tibet and Xinjiang regions of China. The middle sector is divided between the Indian states of Uttarakhand and Himachal Pradesh and the Chinese autonomous region of Tibet, and the eastern sector is divided between the Indian state of Arunachal Pradesh and the autonomous region of Tibet in China. The China-India skirmishes across the Sino-Indian border of 2020 and 2021 is a result of face-offs between Indian soldiers and Chinese soldiers across the eastern Ladakh region and autonomous Tibet region, which began off on 5th May 2020. This was primarily caused by the objection of Chinese troops towards the Indian construction of road along the Galwan Valley. This objection had taken place a very violent and remorseless turn on 15th June 2020, which resulted in violent clashes between the Indian forces and the Chinese forces that led to 20 Indian soldiers being killed and a reported number of 43 Chinese soldiers being killed. On 7th September 2020, for the first time in 45 years, shots were fired across the Sino-Indian border. Both China and India blamed each other for the misconduct. Upon the occurrence of these violent skirmishes between Indian troops and Chinese troops, Indian campaigns urged for the boycott of Chinese goods and the halting of entry of Chinese firms into the Indian markets. As a result, the Indian government banned apps, including the ones which are owned by prominent Chinese firms such as ByteDance, Alibaba, Baidu, Tencent, etc. by November 2020. The military disengagements had taken place from Galwan Valley and Hot Springs in June and July of 2020, from Pangpong Lake area in February 2021, from Pangpong So in March of 2021 and Gogra Post on August 2021. Spokesperson for the Indian Ministry of External Affairs stated on May 2020 that there existed enough bilateral mechanisms to resolve the border dispute between India and China diplomatically. However, critics assert that the agreements are deeply flawed. After 1962 Sino-Indian War, official border talks began on December 1981, which met for 8 times, and the last one being on 1987. Some of the prominent bilateral mechanisms for resolving the India-China border dispute include India-China Joint Working Group on Boundary Question, abbreviated as JWG, enacted on 1988. Special Representatives Mechanism on Boundary Question, abbreviated as SRM, enacted on 2003. China-India Diplomatic and Military Expert Group, abbreviated as EG, enacted on 1993. Working Mechanism for Consultation and Coordination on India-China Border Affairs, abbreviated as WMCC, enacted on 2012. That's it, friends, for this video. Thanks very much, friends, for watching. Let me know in the comment section who do you think will prevail in the border dispute between China and India. Please consider subscribing my channel if you're new here and like my video too. Goodbye, friends.